So imagine wealth like a fortress. You spend years building it, and just when you think you can relax, you realize it's vulnerable to attack from all sides. So now you have to build protective chambers. You need vaults. If you don't have them, one bad lawsuit or divorce can smash away decades of work. You need these vaults to keep your money safe from taxes, lawsuits, and volatility, to allow you to pull large amounts of cash without selling anything, and to give you access, influence, and control. You can't use traditional banks because they're built for holding money, not protecting wealth. They expose your assets, cap your power with limits and fees, and have too many rules to give you control. So the rich have to turn to other types of vaults. That's why half of the properties in London over £1 million are empty, and why paintings worth hundreds of millions of dollars are hidden away in free ports in Switzerland, Singapore, and Luxembourg. And today we're diving into these vaults. Welcome to Alux, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. So Vault 1 are stocks and bonds. So stocks and bonds on their own aren't very special. Everyone has access to them now. You can buy an index fund from your phone in under 5 minutes. So what makes this a vault for the rich isn't the asset, it's the structure. Most people invest to grow wealth. They put money into the market and hope it goes up. Maybe they develop a strategy over time, but it's still about growth. For the rich, it's different. The wealth already exists. Now their priority is to protect it. So stocks and bonds become the outer wall of the fortress. It's easy to build, hard to break, low risk, steady returns, and simple to scale. This is the rich person's version of a savings account. It's where they keep the money they don't want touched. And if they want to keep it untouched, they can't have it all in their name. That's rookie behavior. Because when you have vast amounts of wealth, visibility creates vulnerability, so they don't hold them personally. They use trusts, shell companies, and family offices. The goal is separation here. The person and the asset should never be legally tied. If everything is in your name, you're exposed to taxes, lawsuits, and scrutiny. But if it's owned by a trust, it's protected, even in death. That way, they still control the money, but they don't own it on paper. Now, of course, we don't know the inside details of these trusts and foundations. That would defeat the purpose. But we can look at how it worked out for one family when they took their company public. So one of the wealthiest families in the US, the Pritzkers, have built a vault that's been compounding for decades. They owned Hyatt hotels. When the company went public in 2009, they didn't cash out. They kept most of the shares through trusts and private entities. So instead of selling, they collected dividends. Instead of splitting the fortune, they created 11 trusts. That way, no big tax bill, no family conflict, and no disruption. One cousin used her trust to start a private equity firm. Another used theirs to buy real estate. No one sold. Nobody needed to. Their shares became a salary and a way to pass down money without ever having to crack the vault open. And if Hyatt ever dipped into that value, they didn't need to panic because the bonds inside kept the trust paying out. When a regular person dies, their assets go through probate and the government takes a bite. But if a trust owns the stocks, the portfolio passes to the next generation without disruption. The vault never opens, it just changes hands. And when they need cash, they don't sell because selling triggers a tax. Instead, they call their bank and borrow against the portfolio. You use a savings account to keep your money safe. They use stocks and bonds to do the same thing, with the added bonus that their savings grows every single year. Structured ownership, steady returns, and protection from exposure. It's the perfect first vault. But moving on to vault number 2, that's private businesses and equity. So this is the engine room of the fortress. It keeps things moving. It generates cash flow, fuels expansion, and gives you control over how money is made. It's less liquid because you can't just click a button and sell it like a stock. But it still stores and creates money. It's not a flashy tech startup or a viral app. Often, it's a simple, boring company that makes real money every single month. A food packaging plant, a chain of car washes, a pest control business with municipal contracts. Stuff you don't notice until you realize it's everywhere. Or it's private equity and invisible to outsiders. You can't Google its share price. There are no quarterly earnings calls, and it doesn't move with the market. It can grow in the background, throw off cash, and store millions in value without ever making a headline. Companies that look boring and quiet will fly under the radar while still paying you every month and protecting what you've created. And if structured properly, it can be passed down, split up, or sold off without ever breaking the flow. It's like having a lemonade stand. No one thinks of it as valuable. People walk by, they see it, maybe they buy a drink. You built it. It's doing well, and people keep coming back. Instead of keeping your money in a piggy bank, you put it back into that lemonade stand. That money buys lemons, cups, a better sign, and because of that, your stand makes more money every day. Now, first of all, this move keeps your money safe. That money you put into it is still there in your stand, your supplies, and your regular customers. Even when it rains, people want lemonade later. Second of all, it grows your money. You sell more lemonade, make more money, and your stand becomes worth more. If someone wanted to buy it from you, they'd pay more than what you spent to build it. And third of all, you don't need to sell it to make money from it. That gives you control. The Ramsey Institute study on millionaires found that 79% of them build their wealth themselves. And the majority of millionaires make their money through business ownership. And if you're wondering how to start building that engine room for yourself, we built something to help you do exactly that. That's what we're addressing this month in the Alux app with our Start Your Business in 30 Days challenge. Other community members are launching their businesses too, and there are 3 key courses in the app that will help you get yours off the ground. These courses are delivered by experts, and they're exclusive in the app. Terry Rice will help you take your idea from concept to real-world execution. Claudia Miklaus's course shows you how to build a brand that attracts real clients. And Michael E. Gerber gives you the tools to make your business scalable right from the jump. And we want you to join this challenge, so this month we're dropping the premium membership cost from $29 a month to $19 a month. That's 35% off the monthly premium membership. To get this deal and join other Aluxers, go to the App Store, download the Alux app, scan this QR code on screen, and you are in, my friend. This is how you start building, okay, with knowledge, motivation, and a community to support you. All right, so moving on to vault number 3, we've got art, wine, and jewelry. Now, when you see gold chains, diamond watches, and a gallery filled with million-dollar canvases, your first thought might be, those are all status symbols. But they're more than just for show. They're a store of value. Vault 3 can be hidden in plain sight or locked away in a room where nobody will ever see it. Wherever it is, its value doesn't move with the outside world. Art, fine wine, and rare watches, these things don't drop in value because tech stocks have missed their earnings. And that's exactly the point. Art is not tied to interest rates or inflation. It isn't reacting to some government announcement. It lives outside of the system. And because the art market is driven almost entirely by the ultra-wealthy, it plays by different rules. When the economy stumbles, they don't panic sell. In fact, that's often when you buy more. Even though art is considered illiquid, it can still unlock cash. If you own a painting worth $2 million, you can walk into a private bank and use that painting as collateral for a loan. You can get cash without touching the asset. It'll keep appreciating and you get the money all the same. That's exactly what happened with Emily Rales. She and her husband Mitchell spent years collecting modern and contemporary art. While everyone else was watching the housing market crash in 2008, they kept collecting. They opened a museum, but the core of their collection sits in private storage and is now holding more value than some hedge funds. That's why we've partnered with Masterworks, the sponsor of today's video. They make it possible for everyday investors to buy shares in blue chip art, the kind of pieces that usually sit in vaults, not on walls. They recently sold a Basquiat for $8 million. Investors who put in $10,000 took home over $2,600 in profit after fees. You don't need millions to get started, okay? You just need access. And now you've got it. Go to masterworks.art/Alux or scan the QR code on screen to skip that waitlist and get in now. Once you understand how culture holds value, you stop looking at art as simply a decoration and start seeing it as an asset that will hold value even as the rest of the economy seems unstable. Moving on to vault number 4, we've got real estate. Now, there's a reason why real estate keeps showing up on every list of how the rich stay rich. It's solid. Literally, it's the foundation of the fortress. You can touch it, walk onto it, collect rent from it, and sell it when the time is right. And no matter what happens to the markets, the banks, or the latest app, the building is still there. That alone makes it feel pretty safe. They love it because it works on multiple levels at the same time. First, it goes up in value. A building bought for $1 million in a growing neighborhood can be worth $2.5 million a few years later without doing much of anything except waiting. Second, it pays you while you wait. You rent it out, long-term, short-term, commercial, residential, doesn't matter as long as the zoning is accurate. The check hits your account every month. That income covers the mortgage, the taxes, the repairs, and what's left over is all yours. And real estate is one of the most tax-advantaged investments on the planet. You can write off interest, renovations, and depreciation of the building on paper, even as it gains value in real life. When it's time to sell, you can defer the taxes and roll the profit into another property tax-free. Some wealthy people don't even need or want that monthly income. All they want to do is protect what they already have. In major cities like London, New York, and Vancouver, high-value properties sit empty most of the year. Long-term empty homes have doubled in London since 2016. Half of the owned properties on New York's Billionaire Row sit empty. They don't have tenants, they don't earn rent, and that's intentional, because no rent means no local tenant laws, no headaches, and no exposure. It keeps the asset clean and under the radar while the building appreciates in value. Real estate is also easier to pass down through generations, so it stores money, makes money, and it can carry forward. You get long-term stability, a hands-off asset, and a vault that's pretty difficult to destroy. And finally, vault number 5, trusts, foundations, and life insurance. Now, this is the level where things stop looking like money and start looking like paperwork. But make no mistake, okay, this is where the ultra-rich protect what they've built. In Vault 1, trusts were used to hold stocks and bonds safely. It's about optimizing taxes, blocking lawsuits, and making your portfolio invisible. But in this vault, trusts are the actual product. It could hold stocks, art, property, even other companies. You get long-term control, death planning, and generational transfer. When people hear the words offshore or shell company, they tend to imagine something kind of shady, right? But in reality, these are just tools, and when used legally, they help the wealthy to protect their assets, reduce taxes, and pass their wealth on smoothly. So let's break that down. A trust is a legal structure where only one party holds assets on behalf of another. Rich families use trusts so their money doesn't go through a messy will or get eaten up by estate taxes. They can decide who gets what and how, even years after they're gone. It's like writing the rules for your money in advance. Now add in some offshore structures into the mix. That just means the trust or company is set up in another country, somewhere with friendlier tax laws, strong privacy protections, or easier rules for moving money around. Countries like the Cayman Islands, Switzerland, or Singapore are popular for this. They're not hiding anything, they're just choosing rules that work in their favor. Then you've got shell companies. They don't do anything on their own, they exist to hold something. A building, artwork, a portfolio of investments. The name on the asset is the shell company, not the person. That adds a layer of privacy and sometimes a layer of protection if someone tries to sue or make a claim. When you combine these tools, you get a system that's hard to touch. If one country's tax laws change, the structure can adjust. If a lawsuit comes in, the assets are already protected. If someone passes away, the money doesn't get frozen or taxed out of existence. It moves exactly where it was planned to go. Most people never see this layer, okay? It doesn't show up on Forbes list or Instagram feeds. But this is how real dynasties are built and kept intact. These structures don't create wealth, they preserve it. Now, if you've made it this far, you're not here for quick hacks, right? You're here to understand how real wealth is built and kept. And that tells us one thing. You're not just waiting for success, you are building toward it. We see you in the comments every week, the way you show up, the way you pay attention, connect the dots, and we don't take that for granted. You're not just a part of the Alux community, you are part of what makes it real. If this message hits home for you, drop the word vault in the comments. We'll be watching for it. And if you're ready to stop playing small and start building your own vaults, the Alux app is where you do it. Smarter habits, smarter goals, and the 30-day business challenge are waiting for you on the inside. But if you'd like to keep watching for a little bit, we made a full breakdown on the infinite money glitch the rich use to get richer, and we think you'll love it. We'll see you back here next time, my friend. Until then, take care.